Hey everyone, let's dive right into this explainer and absolutely demystify geometry proofs. I know, for a lot of people, the second they hear the word proof, this massive wave of math anxiety just washes over them. But today, we're going to take these seemingly intimidating exercises and transform them into a logical, almost artistic game. Look, if you can follow the rules of a basic strategy game, you can absolutely master deductive reasoning in geometry. We're going to look at the exact strategies, the shortcuts, and really the mindset you need to totally crush it. So here's our game plan for today. We're hitting 1, anatomy of a proof, 2, setting up the board, 3, the magic of CPCTC, 4, coordinate geometry methods, 5, strategies for getting unstuck, and 6, the art of proofs. Let's get straight into it. Section 1, anatomy of a proof. Let's strip away the anxiety and start with the absolute basics. You know, it's a totally fair question, and the answer is actually way simpler than you might think. When you're sitting in geometry class, you're constantly just given facts and formulas, right? But in real mathematics, you can't claim something is true just because, well, it kind of looks true on the paper. You've got to prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Now, notice how a proof is really just a logical progression. You start with obvious facts and walk step by step to a less obvious conclusion. Basically, every single statement you write down has to be demonstrably true. You're taking a collection of totally accepted facts and linking them together almost like an unbreakable chain to prove something that maybe wasn't so obvious at first glance. To build this chain, you're going to need some raw materials. Think of postulates, theorems, and definitions as the essential building blocks you'll use to justify every single move you make. A definition just tells you what a term actually means, like, say, a bisector cutting something exactly in half. A postulate? That's a basic assumption we all just accept as true, no proof needed. And a theorem is a statement that has already been mathematically proven. You're going to use these three things constantly as your legal reasons for why a step is totally valid. Section 2, setting up the board. Because just like any strategic game, you really can't win if your workspace is a total mess. Now, while both of these formats you see here are totally valid, the 2-column proof is the standard, highly organized game board you're going to use most often. On the left side, you write down your statements. These are the things you're claiming are true. And on the right side, directly parallel to each statement, you drop your reasons, the exact definition, postulate, or theorem that legally allows you to make that specific claim. Paragraph proofs do the exact same thing, just written out in sentences. But trust me, that 2-column structure keeps your logic incredibly sharp and clear. To build that unbreakable logical chain we talked about, you've got to follow this standard 5-step process. Never, ever start by just guessing the ending. You start by listing exactly what info is handed to you. You clearly state your goal. Then, you step by step form a deductive argument, justifying every single line until your final statement is the exact thing you were asked to prove in the first place. And here's a massive pro tip. Before writing a single word in those 2 columns, you must mark your givens directly on your diagram to actually visualize your path forward. If the problem tells you 2 segments are congruent, draw those little tick marks right on them. If there's a right angle, draw the little square. Visualizing the given info takes this abstract problem and turns it into a very real, very solvable geometric puzzle. Okay, moving to section 3, the magic of CPCTC. Get ready because we're about to introduce literally the biggest cheat code in all of geometry. CPCTC. Yeah, it stands for corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Definitely a mouthful, but the concept itself is absolutely amazing. Once you prove that 2 triangles are entirely identical, meaning they are the exact same size and shape, CPCTC acts like a master key. It lets you immediately declare that any corresponding pair of angles or any corresponding pair of sides between those 2 triangles absolutely must also be perfectly equal. But there's a catch. Before you can actually use that CPCTC master key, you have to prove the triangles are congruent first. And you do that using one of these 5 specific criteria: side, 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 angle, 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 side, or the hypotenuse leg theorem for right triangles. If you can hunt down the right combination of sides and angles, you lock in that triangle congruence and then bam, CPCTC unlocks the rest of the shape for you. When you're out there hunting for evidence, you should always be looking for shared, common sides or parallel lines that create alternate interior angles. Like, if 2 triangles share a wall, a common middle line, that side is obviously congruent to itself by the reflexive property. Boom, that's a free side for your congruence criteria. Or if you spot parallel lines, look for that classic Z shape that gives you perfectly congruent alternate interior angles. Section 4, Coordinate Geometry Methods. This is exactly where algebra meets geometry. Because sometimes relying purely on abstract logic gets incredibly complicated, right? But by placing our shapes on an XY coordinate plane, we completely change the nature of the game. Instead of relying purely on postulates about angles, we bring algebra to the party and use hard, calculated numbers. We can use the midpoint formula, the distance formula, and the slope formula to mathematically, and I mean absolutely undeniably, prove our case. The real trick here is setting up the board totally to your advantage. For instance, placing a rectangle or a rhombus so that its bottom left vertex sits exactly at the origin, 0, 0 on the XY axis, makes calculating things like diagonals practically effortless. You can easily prove two sides are congruent just by showing they have the exact same length using the distance formula, or prove lines bisect each other simply by showing they share the exact same mathematical midpoint. It's brilliant. Moving on to Section 5, Strategies for Getting Unstuck. Look, we've all been there. You set up your columns, you write down your givens, and then crickets. You're staring at the diagram with absolutely zero idea what to do next. So let's open the playbook. These tactical maneuvers often trigger the exact realization you need to keep moving. For example, geometry books literally never give you irrelevant info. If they mention a circle, hunt down those radii. All radii in the same circle are congruent, so mark them. If you see parallel lines, hunt for transversals. Sometimes, even just making up a random number for an arbitrary length in your head can help you test if your logic actually makes mathematical sense. One of the biggest reasons people hit a wall is because they skip steps in their head. You literally cannot assume anything is obvious. You gotta think like a computer, and computers don't know what duh means. If a segment equals itself and you need that fact to prove two triangles are congruent, you must explicitly write it down as a statement and legally justify it using the reflexive property. You have to spell out every single tiny step. Now, what if you're still stuck? Like you've hit an absolute brick wall. If you've written everything you know and you're nowhere near the goal, there's a brilliant emergency strategy you can deploy. Work backward. Go to the very last line of your proof and write down what you are actually trying to prove. Ask yourself, what is the most likely reason this would be true? If it's that two segments are equal, maybe the step right before it was CPCTC. And hey, if the step before that was CPCTC, well, you needed to prove triangles congruent. Working in reverse like this often builds a perfect bridge back to the statements you've already figured out. Finally, Section 6, the art of proofs. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to change how you fundamentally view deductive reasoning. It isn't just about rigidly memorizing rules. It's practically an art form in how you apply them. You actually have incredible freedom here. Solving a basic algebra equation usually has one strict path, but a geometry proof, it's way more fluid. You might take a path that uses 5 steps while someone else takes 8. As long as your steps are legally justified and the logic flows continuously from start to finish, your unique path is 100% correct. So here is the golden rule. Just do something. Never, ever leave a proof blank. Put what you know on paper, write down your givens, mark up your diagram, and state the obvious. It's honestly amazing how often writing down one single simple truth will trigger the next idea, and then the next, until the whole logic flows and you've solved the puzzle. So grab these strategies, step up to the board, and ask yourself, what geometric puzzle are you going to decode next?